What up, it's your girl Catalina Perez, and you are tuned into the OTS Project.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the OTS Project, episode 6. We have changed it up. We got a different topic this week, but before we get into that, let's jump into what we did this week. Theo, we are back. What'd you do this past week? I think it was a pretty important week for you.
Pretty important week. It's been my birthday week.
Mm-hmm.
I spent my birthday with my family. We went out to the Oxford Exchange and we made some candles. I got my own scented candle that I kind of made myself. Also got some books as well.
Nice.
I'm rocking the mustache now, which is a bit of a change, but I'm liking it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I went to Hollywood Studios yesterday.
Oh.
I was there for the whole day.
Mm-hmm.
So I am incredibly tired right now.
All right.
But
it was a lot of fun. Who'd you go with?
I went with my one friend. They were a annual pass holder, and we've been talking about going to Disney for a while. And I was like, "It's my birthday, best time to do it."
There you go. Did you get on Rise of Resistance?
I did. I got on Rise. It's actually funny because right before we went on to Rise, we got ourselves this like frozen blue milk with rum in it.
Yeah.
Which I have to tell you, it's on like frozen butterbeer level.
Okay,
good.
it's better than the normal blue milk that we had.
It is way better than the normal blue milk.
Okay.
The rum kicks it up a whole other notch.
Yeah.
But it is now official that I have been on Rise of Resistance more times buzzed than sober.
Okay. All right. Okay. Nice.
But yeah, we had a pretty fun time yesterday.
Nice.
What have you been up to?
My week hasn't been too crazy. It normally never is. I'm a homebody. I like to stay home as much as I can and kind of just do whatever I can. So yeah, I've just been kind of vibing. I said last week I've been on my South Park kick that I have for the year, my yearly South Park kick, and I swear to God, it happens every year. But then every time it goes from South Park to Family Guy. So now I'm on my Family Guy kick. But I want to blame TikTok actually, because it's really like that's where it starts. Because I'll be scrolling my For You page at like 2 a.m. because I can't sleep, and I'll just see South Park clips pop up, and then I just start watching the South Park clips. And so now the same things happen where now I'm just watching Family Guy clips on TikTok, and now I've just been watching like random episodes of Family Guy on Disney Plus.
That is such a dangerous rabbit hole to go down to, because once you start watching like one clip, it's just your feed for like a month straight. It's just Family Guy.
There was one, and it is not good. But I couldn't help but just be like, oh my God, that is crazy. Where it was a cutaway to Abe Lincoln, and as soon as I say that, anybody probably could tell where it's going. Where it was Abe Lincoln that like walks out of his house, and there's a guy that's like mowing his neighbor is like mowing his lawn, and he says something like, "Hey man, how you been?" and the guy's giving him like the cold shoulder, and so like it was something like Abe Lincoln says, he's like, "Oh, I see you mowing your lawn there," and he just turns to him and goes, "Yeah, I used to have a guy for that, dick," and it is so bad. It is not cool. But I could not help but laugh my ass off because I didn't think that's where that was going. I don't know where I thought that was going, but I don't know. It was so off the cuff and random that I was like, "Oh my, yeah." Family Guy, they don't mess around. Just like South Park, they don't pull the punches.
There's one clip of Family Guy that'll pop up every now and again on my feed, which is just like, it's like Brian and Stewie time traveling, but they're taking Chris with them, and they end up in the 90s, and Stewie's just like. And this Chris is the 1990s, and it just pans to one guy just doing like the I don't know what the dance move's called, but it's the one where you like hold your foot and the back of your head and you go like front and back and stuff that. And he's doing that in a circle to a song, and Chris is just like, "This is the whole 1990s," and Stewie's just like, "Yes."
Yeah. So Family Guy's been great. Other than that, I started playing Sims 4 a little bit. For anyone that doesn't know, I've always been a big Sims guy. My favorite is Sims 3. That's probably the one I played the most, but I go on and off. At least once a year, I'll kind of play and dabble in it. It's a little easier with the console because I don't have to have it on a computer, and it takes 30 minutes to get a sim to do one thing because the processor's dying over there. So I've been playing on the PlayStation because I saw one of the expansion packs. I guess it was free with PlayStation Plus. It was like the Island expansion pack was like free with PlayStation Plus, and it's been like that for a while. I just like kind of overlooked it, so I downloaded it, hopped back in, and I sent you a voice note about it. I thought it was really cool. I hopped in, and they have a whole battle pass that's just like completely free, which I thought was really cool. And most games now, obviously, battle passes are a thing. Whether it's, I mean, Fortnite, I feel like really, I don't know if they originated it, but they're the ones that really kind of implemented it. To where now every sort of video game has a battle pass. There's no reason like the Suicide Squad game needs a battle pass, but it had like 8 battle passes for some reason, you know. So it's just a staple in gaming, but it's always 10, 20, $30. I mean, the Call of Duty ones are like $30 each month, and I'm like, God, that's insane for a game that comes out every year. It's absolutely insane. But so I thought that was really cool on EA, and I think it's Maxis who is really the core developers of The Sims. I thought that was really cool. They have like a whole free battle pass every month. This one is like Blast from the Past, so it's a lot of like retro stuff. So they have like house phones and inflatable chairs that you can unlock. So I've been diving in the past 2 days on just The Sims and playing that, and I didn't know that was a thing until I hopped in. But I think that's a great way. Like I feel like I'm going to continue to play The Sims for a minute just to get all this stuff, and then I'm going to be excited to see what next month's free battle pass theme is. You know, so I thought that was really cool. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's kind of all I've been doing: watching Family Guy and playing The Sims.
Not a bad way to live.
Not at all. So we have
Before we,
no, go ahead. You're
you want me to? I can. Yeah. Before we get into our actual topic for the episode, we do have some quick 2K news to cover
Yes,
because
sir.
there's been some stuff coming out post Royal Rumble up to this point. We got a bunch of new superstars confirmed, and a few managers here and there. We got Armando. He is confirmed.
Yes, sir. We speculated on
We
that.
got Lyra Valkyria. We did speculate on that. We got Lyra Valkyria. We got Sol Ruka. Kalani Jordan, Naomi, Andrade. Nick Aldis is coming into my GM mode,
Yes,
which
sir.
I was pretty much already sure that was going to happen, but
Right.
now
Which
it's
I think that confirms
got
that
Ava.
he's going to be him and Ava. I would imagine confirms they're going to be like managers in general too that you can assign.
We got Alexis King, the Wild Samoans, and Sean Spears.
Yes,
They're
sir.
all confirmed for the game.
So we've
Very
been
exciting stuff.
we've been it's been ramping up. I mean, we have less than a month. I have not pre-ordered yet. I'm trying to get a little extra money before I pre-order it. So I haven't pre-ordered yet, but we are each day. It seems like more and more is coming out. I'm waiting for the full roster reveal, even though I know I'm going to get the game anyways. I just want to know exactly who is on the disc, and then who shortly after. I'm sure we'll find out who is DLC. Yeah, I mean, Kalani Jordan in there and Sol Ruka, those are two right off the rip that I'm super excited to play as. And I figured, I think we both speculated they would be in the game. Yeah, I'm super excited to play with both of them. And I did see like some of the, because in the this is coming from, I guess, a lot of the 2K creators that were at the 2K event for the Royal Rumble weekend. They got to play it for a few hours, but they didn't get full access to the game. It wasn't like the full build of the game. It was like a certain build of the game. So I don't think like Universe was in there. The full roster wasn't in there. So the people that were confirming are people that were just in that thing because you could either use them or like Armando Estrada was I think one of the like few showcase matches that they were able to play was I think the Umaga or whatever, something like that. So yeah, I'm excited to play as Sol Ruka. I saw some of her moveset. It's incredible. Her 450 springboard 450 clothesline I saw is in the game. That's gonna be awesome. The what is it? The Soul Cutter or the Soul Snatcher? I think.
Soul Cutter.
Soul Snatcher. That's what it is. The Soul Snatcher's in there. That's one of the coolest moves in the world right now. I think everybody can agree. So I'm excited to take that and use it for one of my fake people that I create. Yeah. So I'm excited. A little speculation. I'm really hoping Javon Evans is in there. And I've said that, and I said I think he's DLC, but I won't lie. Oh, another name too. I don't think I added on here. Ethan Page. That's another one that was confirmed. But
oh yes, he's confirmed. Yeah.
But Ethan Page came in after Javon Evans was already on TV for a few months, so that's kind of my hope that okay, maybe he's just making it into the base game if Sean Spears and Ethan Page are in there, who came in way later. So hopefully Javon Evans is in there. But moving on from that, I saw in I think one of the trailers, Netflix Raw is confirmed for the game. A lot of people were concerned that this game was going to be outdated, and it feels like every 2K game by the time it comes out is outdated, whether certain people have changed their look up or their gimmick up, or if they've turned face or heel, they've changed certain things in general. So a lot of people were like, okay, well, Netflix Raw isn't in there; it's already outdated. But in the trailer, in the gameplay trailer, I believe you could see that Netflix Raw is in the game. So I think that's really cool that they were able to kind of slide that in there, as well as the updated SmackDown as well. I know that was one of the first things that was confirmed with like the new logo was that the newer SmackDown arenas in there. So those are really cool. Universe mode is not getting a lot. We covered that. I think promos are coming back, but one thing I did see that I actually think I enjoy more than promos is the fact that you now are able to have multiple PLEs on different days. So the way they did it in the past was it would be like 2 different weeks. It was supposed to, replicate that WrestleMania night 1 and night 2 were back to back, but they didn't have that in there. So it would be like week 1 is WrestleMania night 1, and then you have to go through a whole other week to get to like the second night of WrestleMania. Now that's not a thing. They've officially made it to where you can have multiple PLEs on, I guess, the same day, which is really, really cool. I'm excited for that. And lastly, it looks like I put any match type, but I saw that it's not any match type, but special guest referees are now allowed in. I think it's like over a dozen. It's not every match type, but it is a good amount. I think they said the limitation was like that special refs aren't in any matches that have like 8 people or something like that. So like 6-person or less matches, you could use a special guest referee. It doesn't have to be. What was it before? You can only do one-on-one matches.
Yeah, it was just one-on-one matches.
So I would like for them to low-key, this is just a random tangent kind of, but I would really like for them to like take, I don't think it would be special guest referee, but make it to where in general you could just play as the referee. I think that would be really cool.
You can.
Can you? As like Charles Robinson?
You could play as Charles Robinson.
But it has to be a special guest referee thing?
It would have to be a special.
See,
guest referee
that's
thing,
what I'm saying. I don't.
You're still playing as like Charles Robinson.
Right, which is cool, but I'd rather it just be. You could still do a special guest referee match with Mick Foley as your referee, but I would like if you just set up a normal match and you could just like how you could just play as a manager. I would like if you could just play as the referee because I feel like with the special guest ref, it's all this like there's extra stuff added of like who are you gonna screw over, and saying the special guest ref gets like a whole entrance and stuff like that. I would like it to where you could just play as Charles Robinson straight up in a normal match and you just be the ref. I think that would be cool. So maybe that's something. I feel like it's not a big thing to. Again, it's already technically in the game. I just don't want all the theatrics. I don't need Charles Robinson getting like a whole entrance, on his way to the ring for that.
How dare you?
For the match.
He deserves an entrance.
But yeah, that's the quick 2K news, and I'm sure we're gonna get more and more as the weeks go on. So we'll cover as much as we can. Our last bit of news before we hop into our topic. This was what made me go, okay, this has to be our topic. Was the Fantastic Four trailer is out. Theo, you're wearing the shirt. I love it. I've got my
I'm so happy.
Non-Fantastic Four shirt. I have a Valkyrie shirt on, which is cool. I haven't worn this shirt in like at least 4 years. I was going through trying to find a Marvel shirt, and I have multiple Marvel shirts. I was looking for a certain X-Men one, and I couldn't find it, and I just grabbed this one, and I was like, I haven't worn this shirt in like 4 years. So yeah, hell yeah! Shout out Valkyrie. I'm a big fan of that character. I think she's awesome. She was one of the few redeeming highlights of Thor: Love and Thunder for me. She was like the one. Her and Gore were the only 2 things I liked out of that whole movie. But back to the Fantastic Four. We got the trailer. I'm super excited. What did you think, Theo?
I'm super excited. The whole past year, I was on like a whole Fantastic Four kick. I was watching all the movies. I was reading like 3 different comic storylines of Fantastic Four. And so now that we're getting a movie for it, I'm very excited. The Thing, I think, looks incredible. I think they nailed his look absolutely.
Okay.
The only person that I'm still a little bit skeptical on, not even all that much, just a little bit, is still just Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch. Maybe it's just because I'm so used to just imagining just Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
Yeah, I feel like you do that a lot.
Maybe that's it, but I do that a lot, yeah. But, I mean, he's just so much more attractive than Joseph Quinn. I'm sorry. It's just like, it's night and day for me. But I think Pedro Pascal has convinced me that he will do great as Mr. Fantastic.
Really?
At least from what I've seen in the trailer. I don't know. I look at him, and I look at him at the board, just like writing equations like a stressed out motherfucker, and I'm like, okay, I think he's I think he's got this character down. I think he's going to do a good job with it.
Okay. So I really, really enjoyed the trailer. I loved it. I thought it looked great. But I will be honest, you and I are on 2 different boards here, bro. I thought the Thing did not look great. I thought he looked very video game-esque. It didn't look like, listen, CGI is CGI. Practical is always going to be the way. But, there is good CGI, and I didn't think he looked that great. I thought he looked like a video game. I thought it looked like a video game character that was in a real-life kitchen. I didn't think it looked great. But I'm not shitting on it. I think we still have till July, you know what I'm saying? And they're not done with this movie. Just because they showed a trailer doesn't mean everything is done. They're still working on it. So I didn't go, what is this? Oh my God, the MCU. Oh my God, they're doing it again. They're so bad. I didn't do that. I went, oh man, he doesn't look great, but this probably is like an early cut of the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like they have time to kind of tweak it. So I'm expecting him to look good when the movie's done. So on your end, you thought he looked great. Can't wait for you to see the movie, buddy, because you're going to be blown away how good he looks. And I am not convinced about Pedro as Reed Richards. That was one thing. Again, I'm not shitting on it. I'm excited, and I think he's going to kill it. He's done whatever I've seen him in. I thought he was great. Even in Wonder Woman 1980, whatever it was, where it's like a horrible movie, he was the redeeming quality, even though he was also not too great, but he was the best part of that whole movie. So he's great in everything I've seen. Obviously, Mando is really where I was introduced to him and kind of fell in love with him and thought he was great. But I don't know. There's just something about him in the trailer. I wasn't feeling it too much. But again, I'm not judging it too harshly. I'm still excited to see it. I'm excited. I think he's gonna kill it. I just was kind of like, I'm not sure. But in general, I thought the trailer was great. John Malkovich there. He was in there for a split second with his long white hair. Apparently, he's playing a character called Red Omega or something like that. I don't know that character. I'm not sure. Maybe you do because I know you just said you've.
I'm not even. The name does sound familiar. I'm not too familiar with the character though. I'm assuming it is someone connected to the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Maybe I just never got to that in the comics or anything like that.
So yeah, I know he's in there. I know. You know Paul Walter Hauser.
Paul Walter Hauser. I don't think so.
Yeah, quick Google search maybe.
Yeah,
But I know he's in the movie. He's in a secret role, quote unquote, in the movie. But I do believe the rumor is that he's playing Mole Man, which I think is going to be awesome. If he's playing Mole Man, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be it's not a leak or anything. It was just a rumor. But a lot of people are speculating that these like kind of other villains are going to be quick, like kind of montage type. Like Mole Man will be a montage, and I think the Red Omega guy is going to be like maybe the first actual villain they fight. But I think Mole Man is going to be probably like a 5-minute quick montage of them just kicking his ass. But I think that's going to be great. Natasha Lyonne is also in the movie. I have no clue who she's playing. A lot of people thought she may be playing Herbie, but we've heard that Herbie doesn't really have like a voice unless they're hiding it from us. But so we still don't know who she's playing. And I forgot the other girl's name. I think it's Judy something or whatever. She's playing Silver Surfer, but she's playing the female version. I forgot the name of the female version. But so I'm excited that we didn't see her, but I'm excited to see her pop up. And then the last thing I'll say is there was I think I sent it to you. There's there's been a rumor that in this movie Franklin Richards is going to be born at some point. And so I've been like, okay, that's cool. But in the trailer, I don't know if I did send it to you or not, but maybe you noticed there's the shot of Sue walking out of the kitchen. She's walking really, really weird. And people are already jumping on top of that it seems like they may have edited out a baby bump in that because the way she's walking is how a pregnant woman would walk with a full baby bump.
Maybe.
So that's really exciting. I think that's really cool. I think one of the rumors I saw is that's why Galactus kind of arrives on their Earth is because he wants Franklin Richards' power to rip through the fucking multiverse or whatever it is. So it's all speculation. There's not leaks or anything like that. It's just all rumor and stuff that I saw. People kind of speculating a lot of stuff I saw from like new rock stars and stuff once their breakdown came out and stuff. So I'm really excited. My little things I didn't like were small nitpicks that I think will get better once we actually see the movie. But in general, yeah, I'm super excited. We've waited a long time to get this right. The original Fantastic Four movies, I love them. We grew up on them. But when you look at them, they are kind of cheesy. Like the fact that Galactus is a cloud. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not that great. Yeah. They're nostalgic, but they're not great movies. And then obviously Go ahead.
2015 Fantastic Four to me is like the Cat in the Hat of Marvel movies. Like,
okay.
It's terrible, but I love it.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going to say too. Then we got that, and obviously that's a really, really not great movie. I think that movie, I think I told you when you had watched it a few months ago, I like the first half of that movie. I love the origin part of the movie. And then once they get their powers and everything like that, it goes completely off the rails, and I hate it.
They're like two separate movies combined into each other.
But yeah, the whole origin process and stuff, they were cooking with that. That stuff was great. And then once they get the powers, it falls off. But so we've been waiting for a true, really, really good Fantastic Four movie. It's taken over 20 years at this point. So hopefully, finally, Kevin Feige got it right, and they cook. I think they will. I'm really excited to see it. Next week, too, we have Captain America Brave New World. You and I got us tickets for Thursday night, I believe, at 7-something or whatever. So we'll be there. So I think our next podcast after this one will probably be our review of that because we will have seen it. But our actual topic, enough rambling. We're already 20 minutes in, and we haven't even touched the real topic. But man, I'm just super excited. This is our first non-wrestling topic, our first non-wrestling games topic. Actually, we're gonna break down our Marvel memories. When the trailer dropped, I immediately texted Theo after I had watched it. Of course, a few times actually after I had watched it. I texted Theo and said, "All right, well, we need a topic. I think we have to have it Marvel themed because of the fact that the trailer just dropped, and next week we have Captain America. So our next two podcasts, are Marvel themed. But I didn't want to go the easy route of just going what's our top 5 MCU movies, which we'll get to at some point, I'm sure. But I just thought it was a little too easy. I wanted to challenge us a little bit. So our topic, enough waiting. Our topic is Marvel memories. This is just strictly memories that me and Theo have from our childhood. Marvel has always been a big part of our life, as well as Star Wars has, as well as wrestling has for me. Like, there's certain things that are just in your life from the jump, like for us, Marvel and Star Wars have been. So we have plenty of memories to kind of break down, I believe. So yeah, let's hop right into it. What's our memories? Theo, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start us off. This one is far more recent, I'd say, than everything else on my list.
Well, yeah, I have.
But
So I have a few that are really kind of recent, and then some that are really,
right.
really older.
Yeah. I figured as much. There's just always good stuff coming out, so you can't really be blamed for that. But since it is in the theme of like just talking about the Fantastic Four, my first memory is the Human Torch surprise show up in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
I was there with you when we first watched the movie. I jumped out of my fucking seat when that man said "Flame on," because the entire time I was thinking, I'm like, "Oh, okay, Captain America's back. Why is he in here?" And then it's like, "Nope, it's Johnny Storm, and he's flaming on." And of course, as I was just previously saying, that I've been on a huge like Fantastic Four kick, so it was just like it coincided like perfectly with each other.
Right.
To when he showed up, I was like, "Holy shit!"
So for people listening, me and Theo have this thing where whenever something crazy happens, we just, for some reason, just grab onto each other. And so it happened when Cody Rhodes came back, and that's a full story for another day, but it happened when Cody Rhodes came back. I think it happened when CM Punk came back. It happened, but not with you and me. It happened me and Elias. You were there, but for some reason I just grabbed Elias.
Yeah.
But
he was closer.
Yeah. When Human Torch popped up in Deadpool Wolverine, we both kind of jumped out of our seats, but I remember we were both just grabbing each other's shirts, just pulling on each other's shirts, going, "Holy shit!" So yeah, that's a good memory. That's a good memory. I didn't note that one, but the first one I noted, the first one that comes to mind was the premiere of No Way Home. I saw it with you. I saw it with Logan, and I saw it with your dad on the rare occasion where he, for some reason, wanted to come with us. That was just a great night. I mean, the whole hype of it in general, the whole hype of No Way Home really is what I'm talking about. Just every day, we were all like dissecting something else. We were all on Reddit trying to figure out what was happening. And then we have Andrew Garfield saying he's not the werewolf. But then you have this random leaked photo of apparently Tobey Maguire on top of a building. So, like, just everything, every day, the hype was so real and so incredible. To the point where I was doing my GED. It wasn't my GED. It was my actual high school diploma thing. Spoiler alert, people, I dropped out of high school. I got my diploma a few years later. But I was doing my...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert for people that want to know. So I was doing my high school diploma thing, and I had to do an essay. And I legitimately sat here, and I was like, what the hell am I going to write an essay on? And I was like, wrestling. And I'm like, I'm tired of wrestling. Because at that point, I had left wrestling. So I was kind of like, I don't want nothing to do with wrestling. So I legitimately wrote my final essay on No Way Home. And the hype and everything that went into it. Because I don't remember if there were specifics. It was literally just type of, 100,000 word essay, whatever it was. And so I literally just typed out the hype, the leaks, the rumors, the experience seeing it with you guys. So that's my first one. I remember we went to El Cerrito afterwards, my favorite Mexican spot, and you and I were arguing over some stupid thing about a suit at the end, and your dad just like laughing at us. I don't even remember what it was. It was something about, it was because the suit at the end was red and blue, and I think you said something like, no, that was red and black. And I was like, what? It was something like that, where we just had this stupid argument.
It was something. I don't even really remember it.
But I just remember your dad being like, what the hell is wrong with these guys? But yeah, so that's my first one, seeing the premiere of No Way Home. And then even after that, I mean, I saw that movie in theaters like 3 times, because I saw it with you guys opening night, and then me and my mom went to Virginia because that's where my sister lives. And obviously they wanted to see it. So we went like Christmas Eve, I think we went and saw it at some theater in Virginia. So that was great. And then when I came back, I don't think Dave was able to go with us. So I went and saw it with Dave. Yeah, I think you were with me. We went with Dave to see it again or something like that.
I think so.
So yeah. That's my first one. No Way Home, the hype, the premiere, everything about it was incredible.
So my second memory kind of coincides with that, at least the second one I've got that relates to that. Because in that movie there's the whole like surprise scene where Spider-Man jumps through the portal and then he takes off the mask and it's Andrew Garfield, which is my personal favorite Spider-Man of the 3 live action ones.
Right.
And so I was obviously very excited about that, but that's not this memory. This memory is you're on my right, my dad's on my left. He takes his mask off and my dad says, "Holy shit, it's that guy." And I'm like, that's my memory for me. Is not me remembering that scene. It's me remembering what my dad's reaction was to it.
Right.
Because this man does not give reactions like that to almost anything at all.
Right.
So the fact that he's like, "Holy shit," I was like, "Oh my god, wait, he's actually like super into this and connected to this." And I was like, "That's amazing." Even he remembers like these Spider-Man movies when I was watching them as like a 12-year-old, 14-year-old. Going with him to see these movies, and now he remembers it too, and he's having that exact same experience with me. I'm like, this is bonding.
It's incredible. It's a great moment.
Bonding. It's incredible.
I do remember like when we were sitting there. It got all of us. I remember when he came through first. I remember Logan being like, "Holy shit, they're actually doing it." I remember just crying, like instantly, just tears started flowing up. But then you, who's not a super emotional person, at least not, maybe a little more now, but not so much back then. You just started crying. Like, you legitimately just started crying.
That's my Spider-Man.
Right.
That's my
like,
Spider-Man.
I've never seen Jack just start crying. And then Toby came back, and then everybody just started crying even more because even though Andrew's your favorite, Toby's our childhood hero, you know? So it's like...
Of course, yeah.
Everyone was just crying. Yeah, that was a great moment. So, next for me, though, speaking of crying, there's a few times I've cried that are on this list. But this one, I was with you again, and it is the aftermath of Avengers Infinity War. That
hold on. I got the exact same memory, so we're just gonna combine this.
Yep.
Because I have 6, so we can just combine this.
Okay, I have a whole crazy list. It's insane. But so obviously Infinity War is that's like peak. Infinity War Endgame is peak so far. We haven't gotten to Secret Wars yet or Doomsday, so that's peak at the moment. But what really rings true was just the aftermath. I mean, I remember when everybody started disappearing, I just started kind of tearing. Like, I was already tearing up, but like there was
when Bucky fell, you stopped.
Yeah,
like entirely.
I was like, Bucky,
shit,
like he's one of my all-time like favorite characters. Like, I've always loved Bucky, so I was instantly like, it just got worse and worse. And I think that was obviously the point. Like, with so many characters disappearing, it gets worse and worse. If maybe you didn't care about Bucky, so you're like, he's gone, whatever. But then you see Wanda disappear, and someone else might start crying. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. So like for me, seeing Bucky go already had me messed up. Seeing Groot and Rocket go, I was like, oh man. Seeing T'Challa go, no, like, you know what I'm saying. And then once I saw Star-Lord, and then obviously the whole moment with Spider-Man, Star-Lord and Spider-Man, that's where I really started going, because Star-Lord's my guy. He's in my top 5, and so is Spider-Man. So once I saw them, and obviously Spider-Man, they exaggerated the hell out of it. He didn't just go. He was begging to not go. So like that, I just started crying. But really what the impact was when we got to the car. When we got to the car.
That's exactly what I have written down is Infinity War car ride home.
Yes. I have never been so quiet. I don't think I'm like a super talkative person, even with people I'm around. Like, we talk, but I don't think that I don't stop talking. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm pretty quiet. So when we were in the car, I didn't say a single word. I was just like, where do we go from here? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do we...
It was the most quiet car ride home I think we've ever had. My dad, I'm pretty sure, was like, "You guys okay?"
Right.
And we're just like, "No."
And you were like, "I've never seen you so quiet. Like, you didn't say a single word." So, yeah, that whole aftermath, that had us all fucked up, man. But I also knew, I'm like, they already greenlit another Spider-Man movie. So then I'm like, instead of me being like, oh, like most people would be like, okay, yeah, they're gonna come back. In my head, I'm mentally fucking myself over, and I'm like, maybe maybe they're gonna cancel it. Like, maybe it was just a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they just tried to throw us off, or maybe they're just gonna recast Spider-Man. It's a different universe of Like, I was overthinking it, and I was like, man. But yeah, that whole car ride, you could hear a pin drop in that car. It was so quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. we were just so stunned.
Mm.
I think we were both just in the right mindset of just like, what the hell is going to happen? Because nothing like this has ever happened
Right.
in like superhero movies or anything like that. This
Mm.
is all brand new territory. Never has there been like they're killing off characters like it's Game of Thrones over here, and
Right.
we just don't know how to react to it at all.
For sure. You got another one you want to add?
Nothing on that. I do have one that's kind of a little bit later down the line in Endgame. This was one of my biggest pops in a theater ever.
Yes, sir.
I feel like is in Endgame, Thor and Thanos are fighting it out at the very end of it, and all of a sudden Mjolnir lifts up, hits Thanos, and gets into Cap's hand.
Yeah.
That is like a core memory
Yes,
for
sir.
me
Incredible
at
stuff.
this point. Because when that hammer landed in that hand, that was like the first time in a major way that I've heard a whole theater just like start like erupting in like whoa sort of like things.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's like it's so referenced with this Thor's hammer throughout the entire of like the Avengers
Yeah.
history and everything like that. And so the fact that he was able to lift Thor's hammer, I was stunned, you were stunned, everybody in that theater was stunned. We were cheering him on and everything. He's using the powers of Thor. And that's like one of my favorite scenes in all of like MCU history.
Right.
Is so well done.
I have it as well. So I'll tie mine in. Mine more so is just with my dad. I believe that was the last Marvel movie that I did see with my dad, which is incredible, I guess, but also very sad. I would like to say that my dad was like the Tony Stark of the whole family. Like out of the whole family, I'd say this man is like Tony Stark of the damn family. So it is a little sad the fact that I saw Tony Stark, die in the movie, and then not too long after, about 2 years or whatever after, my dad also went. But it is a core memory because of just how hyped we were. That one I didn't see with you. I think you had to work or something like that, and you couldn't get out in time for what the theater was, like what the showing was going to be or whatever. I think you had to work. So it was just me and my dad. I said, you know what, bro? I'm sorry. I can't wait. I have to go.
No.
Which I was also working. I was working at McDonald's at the time, but I made sure I worked like till like 3:00 or whatever, so I had enough time to get to the theater and whatnot. Which also was kind of cool because we had they had like the Happy Meal toys, which were the Avengers toys. So everywhere I looked in the McDonald's was just some sort of Avengers toy, or it was like Thor on a poster in the window. So that also, even though it was work and it was horrible, working at McDonald's sucked. That was like probably my favorite day working there because I was so excited, and everywhere I looked just made me more excited because I would look up and just see Thor, on the window or whatever. So that was really cool. But seeing it with my dad, we got to the theater. We got there late, of course, because my dad had to. I wasn't driving at the time, so my dad had to leave the pawn shop to come home to pick me up to then drive to the theater. So we were a little late, and it wasn't assigned seats for some reason. It was just general admission kind of thing. So we had 2 tickets, but we got in there, and there was no seats. There was, and he was like, "Hold on, I want to go get popcorn." So we left to go get popcorn, and when we came back, there was no seats together. So I had to sit like 3 rows ahead of him on the other. Like I sat on the right, 3 rows ahead of him, and he had to sit in the back of the theater, which sucked because I would have liked to have that experience with him. But it was still cool because when we left the whole car ride home, we were just talking about what the hell just happened. My dad was he was like just a movie guy in general, obviously, but he really loved like the superhero movies. He wasn't like us where we're diving into everything and theorizing stuff, but he just loved to go and see them, and then he would talk about it after. But he wasn't like watching the trailers and stuff like that. It wasn't until I started showing him the trailers where he kind of would see that stuff. But a funny memory that I do have with it was that, so we're sitting separately. I'm sitting next to a group of like middle schoolers, and so in my head I'm just like, please don't ruin this. Like I'm like hoping they're Marvel fans and not just kids that were there to do something, and they're just gonna start like acting fools throughout the movie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there, and there's like it was like 3 middle school boys and like 3 middle school girls. Clearly they were on like some triple date kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And the girls all were just like, we've never even seen a Marvel movie. We have no clue what this is about. This isn't even going to be good. Like, they were just complaining the whole time before the movie started. The movie starts, the movie's ending, and as Tony is like, not when he's dead, but like when he's like laying up against the rock and like Pepper's talking to him, I just hear all 3 of those girls just crying their eyes out. And I just thought, like, how powerful is that these girls had no clue who this guy was. And within one movie, they legitimately were acting like they lost like their dad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that long-winded, but that's my Endgame experience.
Yeah. I think Infinity War Endgame, we could obviously talk about those forever. I
Yeah,
think
we can
those
have
are
a whole
probably the two
episode.
movies that we have the most
Mm.
connected to that.
Right.
For sure.
Another
you're
one.
next.
Another one I have here is a wild one. This also it doesn't include you, but it's seeing Civil War after a wrestling show. I just thought it was so wild, but it's not something that normally happens. But yeah, so we were running weekly wrestling shows. This is before we were at the Gulfview Event Center. So this is we were at some bar. It was like some country bar down the street. People are gonna know, but Theo, where always is and stuff like that. It's the same shopping center. There was a country bar, and we would run shows there before my dad rented out the space at the event center. So we were running shows there, and me and Billy Grace, who was a ref, we both wanted to see the movie, but obviously we had to run the show. I was running the show. I wasn't even just there. I was legitimately booking and running the show, making sure everything was running smoothly. So I had a million things on my plate. But as the show ended and everyone started breaking down the ring, I went on my phone real quick and I saw it was 10:30 or something like that. Or it was we'll say it was probably 10 o'clock. There was an 11:30 showing of Civil War at the Regal down the street. And I just went to Billy. I was like, you think we can make it if we get this stuff out of here? And I don't think we've ever moved so fast to get a ring broken down and get all the stuff out of there. We got it all out of there. We had 15 minutes to spare. We hopped in Billy's car and we flew to the Regal and watched Civil War. So that was such a cool moment because it's just so who else can say that they went and watched a Marvel movie opening night after they did a wrestling show? You know what I'm saying? It's so random, but I just thought it was so cool. And obviously we could do our top 5 in another episode, but that's my number 1 off rip. I've said it a million times. That's my favorite. Not just MCU movie, that's just my favorite superhero movie in general is Captain America Civil War. So makes it a little more special that not only was it after a wrestling show, but it's my favorite one. So
for sure. Number 4? I don't even know.
I have so many. I'm just going until I don't have any.
It's just I'm gonna forget that. It is you and me riding the Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot for the first time. That is the best ride I've ever been on.
It's incredible.
First and foremost, it's so good. We first got on there. We were lucky to get into the queue.
Right.
Firstly, I remember sitting there for 10 minutes just waiting for this queue to open. We're just the second this thing opens, just start clicking on the screen.
Well, little preface for people that may not know. When it opened, it wasn't just get in line. You had to get in a virtual queue, and there was two opportunities. You had to get it either 7 in the morning, and you could be anywhere. You didn't have to be in the park. You could be anywhere, but it had to be at 7 in the morning. Or the second chance was at 1 p.m., but you had to be in Epcot. You couldn't be at your hotel or in Magic Kingdom. You had to be in Epcot. We didn't even try for that 7 a.m. thing, I don't think. I think we were just no.
I think we were both asleep.
Right. We were there's no way we're going to get it. So we were just, I think we just so happened to be in the park, and we were it's 12:40, and we had gotten off a ride, and I was stop. I was before we run off to something else, let's just try it and see what happens. And we were able to get it. Continue.
Yeah. We were able to get in it. We were able to go through the queue. The queue for it is good. It's a bit odd at first because it's just a bunch of winding tunnels and something like that.
Right.
Or not even tunnels, but
it's just
a staircase,
a ramp.
A ramp, yeah, like a winding ramp. And then it goes into this room, and Terry Crews is just there talking to the rest of the Guardians. I'm what is going on? And then they bring him into that one big room, and then all the lights go off, and everybody's looking at one wall. And then the lights come back on, and it's okay, it's a wall. And then you turn around, and it's a whole screen of okay, you're out in space now.
Right.
And Terry Crews is there on a screen, and it's holy.
We had no clue what happened.
Shit.
Right. That was
we had
incredible.
no clue. It was science breaking what happened.
It was crazy.
And then we get ushered onto the ride and whatnot, and we're getting to sit down. I think we're in I think we're at the very, very back car, which then turns into the very front car when it turns around and whatnot. And when that ride launched after the big boom happened and September started playing, I was just hooked immediately. I was dancing and singing the entire time as we're flying around the moon and everything that. You and me are just having the best time we've ever had in a theme park ever.
Incredible.
It was so much fun.
My my side of that story, I'm not a big roller coaster person. And I don't like the launches. I've ridden Rock and Roller Coaster a few times. I don't like how it shoots you out of the tunnel. I don't like it. It makes me feel weird. I instantly feel sick. My chest instantly starts hurting. I don't like it. So when I saw the ride vehicle, or I saw the ride through, and I saw on YouTube like it shoots backwards, I was like, well, maybe I'll be all right. But then once we got the like the boarding group, I was like, I got really nervous. I was like, oh shit, like it's a cool concept. Like yeah, I'll be all right. But then like once it's there, it's like, oh shit, I'm in this now. And I remember when we said bye to Dave, I was really getting nervous. I was like, I almost had an anxiety attack because I was getting really nervous about what was going to happen. But I was like, man, I just got to go with the flow. And I remember we were in the line, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, bro, I'm really really nervous. And you were just like, nope. You were like, we're doing this, dude. You were like, you got this. Yeah. You got this. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got on the ride, and like you, not like when you're in the ride, but when you start moving and you go around the corner and Rocket's on the screen and then Quill pops up on the screen. It sounds so stupid. It sounds like something that a little kid would say, but it easily really relaxed me and made me feel way more secure. When I saw them, I was super like, this is okay, peak anxiety. I'm on the ride now. I was holding onto the lap bar like this. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
When I saw them pop up on the screen and they were talking, I was like, I'll be all right. I'm with the Guardians. I literally was like, I'm with the Guardians. I'll be okay. I'll be good. And that instantly cleared all my anxiety. I was like, I'm part of the Guardians. I'm with them. Nothing bad's gonna happen to me. I'm good. And then we proceeded to have the best like 3 minutes of our lives.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I didn't check it out.
Dude, we got so lucky with that song pull too, because that was like one of the songs I was really hoping that we'd get.
Right.
And that was just, it was so much fun.
If I remember, I'll edit the ride vehicle photo in here.
I will say though, now that you brought it up, that Rocket Raccoon voice was ass.
Yeah, it is.
I remember that specifically.
I think in my panic attack, I wasn't paying attention to that. So, but looking back, yeah, it's pretty bad.
It clicked for me immediately. I was like, this ain't it.
Right.
This is not my Rocket.
So moving on, for me, I have another ride that also has to do with you. So we'll stick on that. Riding Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. That, I would say Guardians is better. But Spider-Man is in my top 5 rides of all time. So my first time riding it, when I was growing up, my family weren't Universal people. We were Disney people. So if we were going to a park, we would just go to Disney. We had annual passes for years on and off and whatnot. So we never really went to, I mean, I had gone to Universal, but it wasn't a constant thing. So I had never ridden the Spider-Man ride. Spider-Man is my all-time favorite superhero. That's my guy, right? So I had never ridden the Spider-Man ride. So you and I went. I think my friend Lexi had invited us to go. I think she had like free tickets or something like that. So she invited us to go hang out with her and her friend Richard. So we went, and you and I hopped on that Spider-Man ride. Yeah, another core memory. Guardians is better and probably a better memory, but riding Spider-Man, that was incredible. That's one of my favorite rides. That whole moment, just again, even the queue, seeing like J. Jonah Jameson's office and whatnot was super cool. Our constant laugh of the Hydro Man that kept going off in the queue because we had to stay in that room for like 30 minutes and they play the same like minute-long video the whole day. So we heard it like 30 times of just Hydro Man just screaming his name. But the ride in general is great. And it's an older ride, and it's still an incredible ride. It's still great.
It holds up.
Adding on to that, too, we got to meet Spider-Man and Wolverine, which was a cool little cherry on top afterwards. I tried to find the photos. I can't find the photos anywhere. But we did meet Spider-Man and Wolverine when we got off the ride, which was really, really cool.
It's true. Do you remember that one time? This was, I think, maybe a few years later. We went back to Universal, and I'm pretty sure we rode on the Cat in the Hat ride, but it broke down for like 5 minutes. And when we got off the ride, they gave us like free fast pass tickets for one ride, and then we were just like, we're going back on Spider-Man.
Yeah, I remember that. And fast pass. And there was also a time where me, our friend Dave, and your dad, you were coming the next day. I think you had to work. Mm-hmm. So you were coming the next day, and we were going to Universal. But the day before, me, Dave, and your dad went to Islands of Adventure. And we were running around, and we went on the Hogwarts ride. And for some reason, we couldn't like fit. Like me and Dave couldn't fit. But it was more like, it sounds horrible, but it was more so because I guess for whatever reason, the thing has to click twice. I've ridden it before. I think I rid it with you. Like I rode it with you. So I could fit on the ride. But it has to click twice. And so they were trying to help. And it's all in the belt. Like it doesn't stop moving, right? The ride vehicle keeps moving. It's kind of like Haunted Mansion. They were trying to help Dave click it twice. And it wouldn't go. So they told him, oh, you have to get off. And so as he gets off, it's right before it's going to take off. And so they just told me I had to get off. They didn't try and like help me get it down. So I was like, well, shit, now I have to get off. So your dad rode Hogwarts by himself, which is a hilarious thing to mentally think about, him just riding it by himself. But again, they said, sorry for the inconvenience, you guys, we couldn't help you out. So they gave us like 2 express passes. Instantly went on Spider-Man. We had already ridden Spider-Man, and I was like, Dave, Uncle Lloyd, I don't care. We're going back on Spider-Man. So I rode Spider-Man like 2 or 3 times that day. So yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah,
You're
it's
up.
a great ride. I've got one last memory here, and this
Okay.
is
I have a few, so it's gonna be all me for a minute.
yeah. We could pretty much just knock yours out after mine.
Mm.
But I've got my Across the Spider-Verse experience.
Okay.
And you weren't kind of with me on this.
Mm.
This was kind of just like a me and my friend group thing.
Yeah.
This
Thanks
was
for the
probably
invite.
like our biggest, biggest gathering I think me and my friend group have ever had.
Mm.
We filled out an entire row in a theater with me and my whole friend group just there
That's
for that
awesome.
movie.
That's
And
fire.
we got a whole picture of us afterwards, and there was like 20 of us in front of like the door for the theater, all like packed together and whatnot.
Send me the photo so I can add it.
And that, yes, I'll have to send you that photo. But that is, if we do a like top 5 Marvel movie list, like it's on there
Yeah.
for sure. I love that movie. It's one of my.
It's incredible.
It's just up there for me in
Right.
movies in general.
That's on
like, not even
Theo's.
just superhero
That's
related.
on Theo's letterbox top 4.
It's on my. It's one of my top 4.
So that's how you know it means something.
But I love that movie. The animation, the story, the characters, every single thing about that movie. I can watch that movie whenever. I love it.
It's a great movie.
So connected to me, and just having that experience with my whole friend group there,
No, that's cool.
it meant so much to me.
Yeah, it's really cool. My experience wasn't as fun. I had no one to go with because you went with all your friends and didn't invite me. So I remember I was working at a school down the street at the time, and I had gotten off. I believe this was in the summer, so I had summer hours, and I was basically only working. I was working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And I remember I came home from work, I think Wednesday or something like that, and it was like opening night or the preview night or whatever, and I wanted to go see it, but I had no one to see it with. So I dragged my mother to the theater. I felt bad because she also had just left work. She fell asleep in the theater. I felt really bad because she didn't want to go, but she went just so I didn't have to go by myself. But incredible movie. A few weeks after that too, I went and saw it again with Miss Catalina Perez. We hadn't seen each other in a while, so we wanted to go do something, and she wanted to go to movies. And it was either see that or Little Mermaid, and I was letting her pick. And I think she was just entertaining me, even though I would have seen both. I've seen both, and I would have seen both again. I think she was just thinking I wanted to see Spider-Man, so we went and saw it. And we were just kind of laughing the whole time because like 30 minutes into the movie, it started off and like it was really low. The volume was really low. And then like 30 minutes into the movie, all the audio just cut out. It just all cut out. And so then like it was one of those things where everybody in the theater was like, so who's going to go? Are you going to go say something or should I go say something? And that went on for like 30 minutes where no one went to say anything until finally someone went and said something. And then the power went out. It was like not meant to be, to the point where Miss Perez there literally told me, she's like, hey bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. If they don't get this thing running in like 15 minutes, I'm just gonna leave. And I was like, well, that sucks. But luckily they got it back up and they started it back from where the audio like had cut out and whatnot. But yeah, my Across the Spider-Verse experience was not as fun as yours was. Although it was a great movie. It was a great movie though. My let's see what's next for me. So that's it. That's your last one.
That's my list.
Okay. So for me, I have a few more. Let's see. What do I want to go? Spider-Man 3. That one. This is a childhood memory for sure. I'm not sure if I saw Spider-Man 1 and 2 in the theaters. I don't remember. Maybe I did. Maybe like Spider-Man 2, I probably did. But my first probably real experience watching a Marvel movie was Spider-Man 3 in 2007. My mom is shocked that I even remember this because she doesn't even remember it. But I remember I have like a straight up like clear memory of me being in the back seat and my parents being in the front seat, and we were leaving the Hollywood 18 after seeing the movie. And it was like a rainy day, and so it was like rainy night, and I don't know. That's just like core memory leaving after seeing the movie. It was like pouring rain. I don't know where Grace was. She wasn't with us, so maybe she was at a friend's house or something like that. But yeah, that was like that's core memory. And plus, I remember kind of I don't know, but it was the hype, but I remember the marketing. I guess I remember going to Burger King and getting like the Spider-Man 3 toys at Burger King. I remember going into the store and seeing like the giant cardboard cutouts of like the dual Peters of black suit and the normal Peter. That's my first Marvel movie experience, like experiencing the marketing and the toys and all that and seeing it. That's like my first one. So that's like core memory. Seeing Spider-Man 3. I had so much black suit Spider-Man stuff because that's my favorite like Spider-Man suit, especially the Raimi black suit Spider-Man is like my favorite Spider-Man suit. Yeah, I had like the doll, I had the Burger King toys, I had the action figures, I had like these little things you would stick on the window that would be like them hanging. I had so much stuff in general, but really like black suit Spider-Man, I had so much stuff from that. So that's my first like real Marvel movie memory of like experiencing it and not just like watching the DVD at home when I'm like 5, you know.
There's a. Do you remember? There was like one weekend or something like that a few years ago where you invited me over to your place, and we were just like wanting to watch movies and stuff like that. And you were like, "Have you seen Hacksaw Ridge?" And I was like, "No." And then we watched Hacksaw Ridge, and then we're like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we should watch another movie now." And then we just decided to watch Spider-Man 3 after having watched Hacksaw Ridge, which is the complete opposite of what that movie is entirely.
For sure.
But we were just cracking up, making jokes the entire time. That was
and I remember my mom, like she was in a room, but she came out and watched it with us. Like we waited for her, and she watched it with us, and we were just like going through all the memes, and she was like, "What the hell are you guys even talking about?"
We ran through all the memes of that movie.
So good, I love that movie.
So that's when the memes were like high,
right? And people hate that movie. People, will shit on it. I love that movie. It could be better.
I love it.
It could be better. You know what I'm saying? Like the villain stuff could be better, whatnot. But in general, maybe it's the nostalgia talking. But I absolutely love Spider-Man 3. Next one is One With You. It's not like a crazy big memory, but it is something that kind of stuck in my mind. Having the theater to ourselves to see Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I thought that was like a cool little, again, it's nothing big. I could see you being like, what the hell are you talking about? But I just thought it was a cool little thing. Like, I think me, and Logan went and saw it. And I think Dave may have went with us. And I remember we legitimately walked into that theater and we had a whole pretty much private screening of Shang-Chi to ourselves.
There was no one else in the theater?
Not a single person was in that theater.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah. It was at Hollywood 18. And we went and saw Black Widow, just me, and Logan. And there was like a few people. And I think that was like after the pandemic, that was the first movie everybody kind of was seeing. And then I think Shang-Chi was the one right after that. And it was legitimately just the four of us in that theater. There was not a single soul in that theater. We legitimately had a private screening for Shang-Chi, which I thought was pretty cool. So we'll just blow through that one. This one I know you can relate to. Crying while playing Spider-Man PS4.
Oh my god! Let me tell you about Spider-Man PS4. Hold on. There are not too many games ever that I have stayed up till midnight to play.
Yep.
I stayed up till midnight to play. I had work the next morning, and I stayed up till midnight to play that game. Dude, I love that game.
Incredible game.
I played it through like 3 times.
I think that one's better than the sequel. The sequel is still good, but I feel like the story was better in the first one than the second one. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm no stranger to. I don't show emotion in like my everyday life. Like my dad passed away, and I only cried like one or two times. But when I watch a movie or play a video game or a TV show, I will bawl my eyes out. I don't know what that is. I don't know what what it is, but I will bawl my eyes out if I'm playing a game or watching a movie or watching a show. Yeah, playing that game, man. But specifically, I mean, the whole game is incredible. But specifically, I think the part that everyone cried at, but I definitely cried at, was the stuff with Aunt May at the end, where she's in the hospital bed.
Oh yeah.
He takes his mask off and he doesn't know if he should give her the anti-serum or what. I legitimately was bawling my eyes out. So that's a core memory. I don't know why everybody likes to hurt themselves. You know what I'm saying? Why we put ourselves through this torture. But yeah, that's one of my one of my favorite memories where I was like, wow, like that video game moved me, man, because that stuff was so deep, you know? So yeah, incredible game, but incredible sad moment, but really great moment. I got 2 left.
I have.
Go ahead.
I got one more.
Okay.
I want to interject here because I did just think of it.
No.
No. I added it to my list. It's on my list. I have to talk about it. It is watching Avengers for the first time.
Okay.
because you brought up how Spider-Man 3 was like one of your like first
Mm.
like experiences watching like a Marvel movie like in a theater and stuff like that.
Right.
I wasn't in a theater for this.
Okay.
This was back in like middle school when I would be hanging out at like the YMCA like after school program and whatnot
Right.
with like a bunch of other kids from my middle school, and we would have like movie nights on Fridays and stuff like that.
Mm.
And one of the nights it was the Avengers movie,
Right.
and I watched that movie for the first time, and it like swept me away. Like I've seen like superhero movies up until that point, but I think
Right.
that was the first one where I was like, okay,
Mm.
I'm a Marvel fan now. Let me get in on this
Right.
stuff.
Right.
And ever since then, I've probably seen it at least a dozen other times.
Mm.
It's always one that's near and dear to my heart. I love that movie so much.
My
It's up there for sure.
my experience with the Avengers. So, as a kid, I loved superheroes. I grew up with superheroes. I saw the movies. Da 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 da. There was a while, kind of towards my teenage years, where I just fell out. I wasn't watching the movies. I wasn't really playing like anything superhero. I just wasn't really into. I think wrestling had fully taken a hold of me. Star Wars, we weren't getting anything from Star Wars, so I kind of fell out of love with Star Wars for a little bit because there wasn't much to dive into. And I think superheroes kind of just went with it, and I put all my focus into just wrestling. Civil War was where I came back, and leading up to Civil War is where I went, and I remember I just watched every MCU movie I hadn't seen, which was pretty much all of them. But Avengers I had seen. We went. I don't know if Grace was with us, but I know it was me, my dad, and your dad, and we went to see a movie. You weren't with us. Rachel wasn't with us. It was just like the three of us. Maybe Grace was with us. We went and saw a movie, and I don't remember what that movie was at all. And once the movie ended, we just snuck into Avengers. We all just like walked across the aisle, and we didn't pay for a ticket. We just all went and saw Avengers. But by the time Avengers was playing, it was midnight. Like the movie we watched before was at like 10 o'clock. So by the time we watched Avengers, it was like midnight. I fell asleep. I totally fell asleep. So I remember I fell asleep. I woke up to the part with Loki and Hulk where he starts throwing them around. That's all I remember from seeing the movie. Like that's literally all I remember. I don't remember the end, anything like that. I completely fell asleep, and I only remember seeing that one scene. Obviously, now I've seen it a million times, but at the time in the theater, I technically have seen the first Avengers in theater, but yeah, I don't remember anything other than that one scene. That's my 2012 Avengers memory. All right, my last two. Seeing Guardians 3, that's in my top 5 as well. I love that movie. I think that's one of the greatest movies just in general. Like I've been on that journey with the Guardians. I love the Guardians so much. I've been on the journey with them, so I already knew it was gonna fuck me up when I was going to see it. But when I saw it, it really did mess me up. But the story around it is actually hilarious. This is when I was working at the school. And my plan was, okay, I have to work, so my plan was I'll just go see it on Saturday. But it was kind of just eating at me that I wasn't going to be able to see my favorite, team's movie on opening night. I'm not even kidding. Maybe I manifested this, but I didn't like fake it. It was true. I was at work and I instantly just felt sick. Like I instantly was just sick as hell. Like we went on break and me and O'Leary went and we were cleaning the admin's office and whatnot. And I instantly got the shakes. Like I instantly was shaking and just got like really sick. And I told him, hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't feel good. So I called my supervisor and said like, hey, I think I need to leave early because I do not feel good. Genuinely, I did not feel good. They were like, okay, all right, go home. We'll see you tomorrow. I got in the car and I was like, all right, I'm going home. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm free. I instantly felt better. I swear to God, I instantly felt better. And I called Dave and I was like, what are you doing? You want to go see Guardians in like 30 minutes? Bro, I did not fake it because it sounds like, oh, he definitely faked it. I did not fake it. I legitimately was sick. And I swear to God, I got in the car and instantly felt better. And so then I went and saw Guardians 3. Did not go home and rest. I went and saw Guardians 3.
So stupid.
And it was peak. And then a few days after that, me and Mr. Richie Pepperfield went and saw it because we both really connected. We were already really close friends, but we really connected over the Guardians and those movies. So we kind of were like, we have to see it with each other. And so I had already seen it, but we went, I think on like that Saturday or wherever we went and saw it. And we both were just kind of crying together and whatnot. So yeah, that's my funny little story is I genuinely was sick. And then somehow I was not sick when I got in the car and I went and saw Guardians instead of being at work. My last one though, just in general, having Hulk, Wolverine, and Spider-Man being like an integral part of my childhood. There's different people that obviously grew up with different things. Like my cousin Logan, for example, he grew up really with Spider-Man and Iron Man as his heroes, and Wolverine. But it was just a different time, and his favorite for years until it became Spider-Man. His favorite years as a little kid was Iron Man because that was the main guy, So he really grew up with Iron Man. So I grew up as well as you did. We really grew up with I feel like Hulk, Wolverine, and Spider-Man because those were the movies that were coming out, whether it was the 2002 or 3 Hulk movie or even the 2008 one or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The Raimi movies, all those early on X-Men movies. I feel like those were the 3 because of the movies. So there was more toys for those 3 characters. I had the Hulk hands. I don't know if you had the Hulk. Did you have the Hulk hands?
I don't think I had the whole can. I think I wanted the whole can. I don't think I had the whole can.
I remember I got the whole can. I think I got it for Christmas. It was like the 2000. Sorry, my alarm's going off. It was like the 2003 ones or whatever. It was the Hulk hands with the Eric Bana Hulk on them. So yeah, just having them being a part of my childhood is like a core memory. I remember the like the what is it, like the ice cream truck popsicles that have like the gumball eyes.
Yes. Those terrible gumball eyes.
Now you see it. It's Sonic. It's Mario. It's whatever. When we were kids, it was like the Powerpuff Girls or Hulk, Wolverine, or Spider-Man. I remember the Ice Cream Man coming, and I constantly either got a Hulk one, a Spider-Man one, or a Wolverine one for sure. The toys, just everything about it. Growing up with those 3, I think those are 3 great characters. I'm not really a Hulk guy these days, but I think for a kid growing up, I think those were 3 great characters to be like the I guess the what is it, like the banner wavers, you know what I'm saying? Like the guys that are waving the banner for Marvel. So that's my last little memory, is just the nostalgia of the early 2000s Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine kind of movement with all the toys and the ice cream and all that is just really, really cool.
Yeah, they had a chokehold for a good few years
for sure. Right, you get Hulk hands, you get the Spider-Man web slingers, or you would get some plastic Wolverine claws like that. You went to a store.
And you get one of their faces as like a mask or something like that.
You would go to a store and you would see one of those 3 sitting there, as well as the toys from the most recent X-Men movie or from, one of the Raimi movies, just in general. Really, really cool memories. You got anything you want to add in there? Because that's my last one. So
I'm fresh out of memories. I have no more memories.
All right, well, that's our episode then. Our little Marvel memories. I think we went on a cool little trip there, a little trip down memory lane from whether it was just a few years ago, like No Way Home, or even months ago, like you said, with Deadpool and Wolverine, or all the way to our first real Marvel movie experiences with Spider-Man 3 or 2012 Avengers. So yeah, that's our episode. Y'all listening, y'all watching, I appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all. You can check us out at OTS Bridger and OTS Bebop on X. I'm also on IG, but also shout out to the WNRN for kind of having us and being our our host kind of and putting us on Spotify. One thing that just popped in my head that totally slipped my mind, and I meant to grab it and hold it before we started so it would be there. The inaugural WNRN Out the Shadows champion is me. It is Kyle Bridger. I won. Royal Rumble was this past weekend. Theo was at my house. Theo was absolutely wrong.
Jimmy Wang Yang did not show up.
Jimmy Wang Yang did not show up. What was the deciding factor? It was like, I think me picking Charlotte and me picking
Charlotte. Yeah.
Cody were the 2 that put me in there. So Kyle Bridger is the inaugural WNRN OTS Project champion, but we will have to see for Elimination Chamber if Theo is going to steal it from me or if I am going to hold on to it for another month. I'm disappointed because I wanted to start the episode while holding it and I completely slipped my mind. But
completely forgot.
But yeah, so that's it. We'll see y'all next week. We appreciate y'all watching and listening. Theo, anything you want to
add? No, just thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for supporting.
Yes, sir.
Really appreciate it. Thank you, WNRN, for hosting.
And next week too, we're gonna have our Captain America review. I don't know what it's not gonna be the full episode. I don't know what the theme is yet. We're gonna have to talk about that. But we're definitely gonna have our Captain America Brave New World review. So stay tuned for that. If you want to keep the Marvel train rolling, make sure you're there next week for that episode. And with that said, we will see you there.